Hello and welcome to Reality Check, where every night at 9:30 we dissect the big story of the day. Tonight, it's a municipal election result, but it may rewrite national politics. The BJP's big win in the Delhi civic elections has seen near frantic attempts by the Congress and other opposition parties to talk up the idea of a joint platform to keep the BJP out. That's what we're going to debate tonight. Is that realistic or is that a pipe dream? Well, the senior Congress leader Randeep Surjewala tweeted this earlier today, where he said that he hopes all regional parties will now realize that blind anti-Congressism is not the way. Country must come first in a battle of ideologies. Meanwhile, Sharad Yadav, who'd had that meeting with Sonia Gandhi, has said that the opposition must unite to counter the BJP's politics.
सभी पार्टियां महसूस करती हैं कि आज के जो हालात हैं सबको गोलबंद होना चाहिए। मैंने बड़ी बड़ी जीत देखी है। ये जरूरी है कि जो बिखराव है अपोजिशन के बिखराव के चलते वोटों का बिखराव, जनता बढ़ती खंड खंड होती, उसे एकजुट कैसे किया जाए।
All right, Sharad Yadav there floating the balloon for an anti-Modi front, but also raising the important question, who will head it? We'll get into that in just a second, but I just spoke earlier today to Dr. Harshvardhan, senior BJP leader, someone who's one of their top figures in Delhi, and of course I began by congratulating him, but I also asked him that Mr. Harshvardhan, while this is very creditable that you won this sweeping victory, many believe that this has more to do with the performance of the Narendra Modi wave rather than the performance of the BJP in the MCD, whose track record frankly has not been much to write home about.
I think it is a combination of many things. Of course, I would say that Modi ji's performance in fact is something about which these days we don't go and talk about it, but the people start congratulating us about his performance. That's number one. Then as far as the performance in MCD is concerned, I think on a large number of fronts our people have done quite well, although I will agree that there are many things that we need to do further.
Yes, because when you say quite well, if you look at what we've seen with the multiple epidemics of chikungunya, and then we've had dengue and malaria, it would be hard pressed to say that it's done a good job.
Any outbreak can happen with any government, any MCD, any system. You see, if there is an outbreak, even while I was the health minister in Delhi, I remember I had a dengue outbreak in '96, in spite of the fact that I tried to do my best. So you see.
Well, let me just, I know what you're trying to say, but let me ask you this. What do you say to those who say that this was not so much a BJP win, but simply the factor of yet another instance, yet another election when the opposition vote got divided, this time between Congress and AAP?
You see, the answer to this is you just study the vote percentage that we got and what the other two parties got. I think that will amply answer this question of yours. I think the party has got clear-cut massive support from the people of Delhi, which we felt while we were on the ground, and there was outright rejection for the other parties, and especially the work which was done by the Aam Aadmi Party in last 2 years. They literally deceived the people of Delhi. They betrayed them. They never thought of governance. They were always indulging in all these abuses and all those negative things,
right?
Cursing everybody, including the Prime Minister.
All right. Well, I have to tell you though, just on a small fact check, that when you say that your numbers are still higher than the AAP and Congress put together, that's not quite true. As our graphic just showed, if you add them up, they are 10% higher. But again, that's just academic, some would argue. I just want to ask you in conclusion though, Dr. Harshvardhan, that am I talking to the potential BJP chief ministerial candidate of Delhi as and when those elections do happen?
I don't know why you ask these questions. For me and for my party, you see, individuals are not at all important. We work for value systems, we work for the ideology of the party, and for us serving the nation and the society through politics is our prime goal. For me at least this is an irrelevant thing. At least I don't have any personal agenda in my personal or political life.
All right, modestly spoken and diplomatically spoken as always. Dr. Harshvardhan, thanks very much for joining us. Well, let's go across now to our panel. We have GVL Narasimha Rao of the BJP. Thanks for being with us. Abhishek Singhvi of the Congress, and here in the studio with us, Aarti Jairath, senior journalist. We will also be getting somebody from the Aam Aadmi Party shortly. But Abhishek Singhvi, if I can just ask you, that tweet from Randeep Surjewala where he said it's time now for the opposition to bury its differences for the wider ideological fight. Is that a sign, Abhishek Singhvi, that the Congress has already conceded defeat for 2019?
No, I don't think it's a sign about 2019. It's certainly a sign that the BJP and Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah in particular deserve very hearty congratulations for pulling off an amazing feat in the municipal elections, in that despite incumbency, they have managed to increase. And certainly, I think in a democracy, you have to be honest and truthful, and you must therefore congratulate your adversary who has done remarkably well. But as far as your question is concerned, Vasu, let me make 2 or 3 points clear. You know, the Congress has always stood for larger issues in the country whenever there are ideological reasons where larger issues compel people to come together.
But Abhishek,
I don't think we are remembering easily. Let me just give you 1 minute.
Not to interrupt, but is that just a more sophisticated way of conveying the fact that you're now you're in panic mode? You acknowledge that there is no hope for you to win 2019 or any other election down the line on your own.
To redraft the political lexicon, where you start defining coalition or building bridges or having strategic alliances to minimize vote divisions against a common adversary, to redefine it as panic mode is completely wrong. Let me tell you that people are forgetting that more than 18 political parties have repeatedly come together on diverse issues in Parliament, which includes Vyapam, demonetization, land acquisition we've forgotten, some of the Dadri lynching and other issues, communal issues.
Right.
So there are great convergences. Outside of Parliament also, in many states we've done it, and the Congress stands for it. When, where, how, to what extent, the boundaries, the contours and the content will have to be not discussed on television
let me
channels,
just take that.
But will be matters of later discussion.
Okay, let me bring in GVL Narasimha Rao. GVL Narasimha Rao, is the BJP quaking in its boots at the prospect of this anti-Modi front coming together, if it comes together?
Rajdeep, Srinivasan, people of the country see this as some kind of, people of the country see this an attempt at of different parties in political survival, and people do not see any ideological any equivalence among any of these parties to come together. So it is more of a Modi phobia that is possibly in fact, Congress is trying to show this phobia to others to come along. But the reality is, in many elections, even these alliances have not worked. You have seen in Uttar Pradesh where an alliance of SP Congress was talked about as a formidable combination, but they simply could not withstand the Modi wave. Same was the case in other states. In West Bengal, we have pushed both the left front and the Congress to a very distant third and fourth spot.
Okay, let me go back to Abhishek Singhvi before I come to...
Because Mr. Modi...
Let me just go back to Abhishek Singhvi before I come to Aarti Jairath. I take that point that you say that these combinations have not worked, but Abhishek Singhvi, on more hard, practical questions now, such as the ones that Sharad Yadav raised. One of them, of course, is, were this coalition to come together, who will head it? Is the Congress now willing to concede, as you did in Uttar Pradesh, that the leadership can no longer rest with you? It cannot be vested in Rahul Gandhi.
I don't think that is at all the right way of approaching it. I still believe that the Congress is the umbrella party, the umbrella philosophy, the umbrella covering which provides a very great cementing force for like-minded people to consider alliances and coalitions. I think there will be certain principles. One of them is bound to be that fundamentally antithetical views will not come together. You will not have a AIDMK and a DMK together. You won't have a Shiv Sena just because it opposes the BJP everywhere. Opportunity to take it into an alliance with us. Things like that. Secondly, leadership is far away at the moment. We are yet at the beginnings of something which should be worked out. Okay. And I have no doubt that all personal egos, irrespective of party, all personal egos, irrespective of party, will be kept in abeyance for that. But to start with an assumption that, oh, are you going to be giving up your leadership and not, that's a totally wrong approach.
Okay, well, you may say that's the wrong approach, but some may say could be the key stumbling block. Let me just bring in Aarti Jared. Aarti, is this idea of simply just a front yoked together on nothing more than anti-BJPism or anti-Narendra Modi realistic or even practical at a political level?
Well, I think that, you know, after the BJP's stunning victory in UP, there is a sense of anxiety and panic amongst all opposition leaders. Absolutely. That, you know, today, I mean, Modi seems to dominate the landscape so much that unless they get together, they're not going to be able to fight him. But, you know, 1 + 1, I mean, theoretically equals 2. But when, you know, the electoral dynamics come into play, then sometimes they don't add up to 2. And as we saw in UP, see what was...
It just didn't work.
It just didn't work. And what happened in UP was that the Congress's vote share actually fell.
Yes.
Because its voters could not stomach the idea of voting for the Samajwadi Party.
Right.
So the, you know, the Congress really didn't bring very much to the table in that election. In any case, a Mahagathbandhan in UP would have made sense only if the BSP and the SP got together.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, they are the two big parties in UP. The Congress is really an also ran.
And this is something that the Congress is going to come up against again and again. Like even in Delhi, for example, when we saw that if you look at the data, it's true that if you add up AAP and Congress, even today they're 10% more than the BJP, but the AAP and Congress unlikely they could, you know, they would never been able to come together.
And in an election situation, you may find that the Congress voter does not want to vote for AAP, or that the AAP voter does not want to vote for Congress, because remember, AAP came up on anti-Congressism.
But so, you know, on this question,
it's easier said than done.
Right, but on this question of a certain ideological incoherence, GVL Narasimha Rao, I do want to ask you though, that is the BJP also guilty of somewhat diluting its own identity as you go on taking on more and more congressmen? I mean, you said that your goal is Congress Mukt Bharat, but as many people have pointed out, is it more BJP Yukt or Congress Yukt BJP?
Srinivasan, let's not confuse the viewers. I think when we talked about Congress Mukt Bharat, we have repeatedly stated we want to give an alternate agenda in politics. Today, if there is anyone who represents alternate agenda, alternate vision in politics, it is Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi himself. So he has caught the imagination of the people of the country, and that's the reason why the BJP's base is expanding, and that's the reason why we are breaking into new territories where BJP had not been a force to reckon with.
No, but why do you, but for those victories, no, but GVL Narasimha Rao, for those victories, you have taken on a lot of outsiders. I mean, just in Uttar Pradesh, you took on a number of Congress leaders. We saw Rita Bahuguna Joshi, several others. Even here in Delhi, till the last minute, days before the municipal poll, you were still taking on leaders from the party, which you've called dynastic, you've called them corrupt, you've called them incompetent. But there you had Mr. Lovely joining so many others. What's the need for that if the BJP is doing so well?
No, Srinivasan. No, I think we are a party that is growing at an exponential growth. And you have seen ever since we, even on the day that we won Uttar Pradesh election, our people started working for the next round of elections. So we are a party on the move. So we want to adopt every conceivable and every practical strategy to expand our base.
Okay,
so
you're saying it's practical,
particularly where we don't have a substantial support base.
Abhishek Singhvi has his finger up. GVL Narasimha Rao, Abhishek says it's practical.
No, I think,
are you worried about a mass exodus from the Congress?
I don't think so. I think people who are with the Congress at the core are people who believe in certain fundamentals about the Congress identity and profile, and they are not there as fair weather friends or as birds of passage. But let me say one thing. I think one must guard against this huge amount of self-congratulatory complacency which the BJP is having, which is of course bordering on arrogance. I don't doubt the fact that this is a remarkable set of victories they are having, but ultimately I think in politics, after all, they were a party with 2 people some time ago. This hubris, this sense of infallibility is a very dangerous thing, and I think it is very clear that today the BJP is a cripple, is an empty pot without one man. So their excessive dependence on one man is also should be a cause of great concern to them. Things don't always remain the same. And let me tell you also that when we talk of alliances, you are not to think of Mahagathbandhan only. I think there's a lot to be said for very, very carefully calibrated strategic alliances, which are purely to prevent vote divisions. And vote division is the area where we lose. You gave the example just now of Delhi. Now, I agree that there is no possibility of AAP and Congress getting together. But in the 2019 elections, there are innumerable constituencies, over 200, where prevention of vote division can make 1 + 1 into 11 and not 1 + 1 into 2.
All right.
So that's the kind of calibrated, focused exercise we have to do.
Okay. Let me just go. Let me just go across to Saurabh Bharadwaj of the Aam Aadmi Party, who just joins us on the show. Saurabh Bharadwaj, does the Aam Aadmi Party at all want to play along with this idea or be part of some kind of a an anti-BJP front going forward? I mean, I know that your presence is limited outside of pockets of Delhi. Some would even question that now. But would you have been willing, hypothetically, for example, in hindsight, looking at what happened in this election, to have even considered an alliance with the Congress in Delhi?
Very frankly, we came into politics and we still believe that, we are into the politics and we are not here to, grab power by, doing some kind of arithmetic. I'm sure, arithmetic is important, and in a kind of conventional politics which happens, and well, I'm not saying it is good or bad.
You did try to form that government with the Congress briefly. I mean, you weren't entirely averse to that. So yes, you did try that. But you're saying not anymore. That's it.
Yes, we were entirely averse to that. Yes, and there was a lot of pressure on us where we formed a government, a minority government, which was supported by Congress from outside, and we did not accept any conditions for forming that government. And the moment we found out that they were not supporting our Jan Lokpal bill in the assembly, we pulled out from the government, and we have had a very bitter experience.
You accept, Saurabh?
People did.
Okay,
tell us
Saurabh, let me ask you this.
They were not happy with that alliance.
Okay, yes. Let's move out of history now. I'm saying, do you accept that it's one thing to stand on ideology and principle, it's another to realize that unless you start now partnering with parties like the Congress or otherwise, you will be rendered politically irrelevant, given this, whatever, BJP, Modi way, whatever you want to call it?
I'm sure, political arithmetic can help parties to align against BJP, but the problem with Aam Aadmi Party or with us is that, we cannot align ourselves with Congress or Samajwadi Party or BSP just to defeat BJP, because, BJP for us represents a cocktail of corruption and communalism. But on the other hand, BSP, SAPA and Congress, though they may not be communal, but they are corrupt.
Okay, so you're saying basically that you will walk alone, ekla chalo re, at least that's the sense I get. But tell me, Aarti Jarat, in terms of who could be the sort of putative leader of this hypothetical third front, I mean, the candidates are not many, right? So after Uttar Pradesh, Akhilesh is out. Arvind Kejriwal, now given all these successive strings of defeats, he's out. Who's left? I mean, Nitish Kumar was, briefly sort of flavor of the month or year or whatever you want to say, but I don't know how much of traction he has now.
No,
so
absolutely. I think this is a big challenge, and winning an election is not just a matter of arithmetic. You need chemistry as well.
Sure.
And I think, today, Modi is easily the most charismatic leader that the country has.
Sure.
The opposition would have to find somebody who can challenge Modi on that plane.
Right.
Modi is able to arouse emotions. He, gets people going. I mean, everybody in Delhi said that this was not a vote for BJP, they were voting for Modi.
Sure.
As we saw in UP as well, you know,
Right.
people were voting
Right.
for Modi, not
Right.
the BJP. So where is the opposition going to find a leader, you know, of that kind of charisma, that sort of pull,
Impossible,
that kind
yeah.
of connect with people, where their arithmetic will start making sense?
Abhishek Singhvi, is it really a case of, rather than just trying to simply align on an anti-Modi platform, that really the challenge is to craft a narrative that challenges the BJP narrative? Isn't that really what you know, the Congress or this opposition front needs to come up with? Because whether it's nationalism, whether it's to do with so many of these issues, the BJP, secularism, all of this, the BJP has run away with the ball, and it has left parties like the Congress in a state of confusion. What do you stand for?
Well, you know, Srinivasan, you know, success is many fathers, failure is always an orphan. You certainly have a very, very high wave of the BJP at the moment. But let me tell you, you are right that you need at least 3-4 inspirational issues. You need to catch the public imagination, and I think that is what we have to work on. There's no doubt about it. We are not going to be merely in managerial mode or deciding whether you will be or she will be or I will be, but work out 2 or 3 at least inspirational issues. Number 2, I think one of those inspirational issues was demonetization, but somehow it has not had the traction we believed it would. It still remains a major issue according to me,
right.
But it did not succeed, and it was an issue which came in a negative way from the BJP. We have to find our own issues, 2-3 of them, which are not negative ones given to us by the BJP.
But you don't think...
There is no doubt about that. But
you don't think on the
now,
leadership...
having said that...
But you don't think on the leadership question,
well,
there needs to be any kind of debate in the Congress? I mean, that comes up in, you know, after
course
every such election result.
There needs to be a debate in that putative, possible, potential coalition. There will be a debate about the leader.
No, I'm talking
But
about within the Congress itself.
Today we are...
I'm talking about Rahul Gandhi.
I think for a municipal elections, to come up with that, I think it's a little tall short. There is no such thing like that. We are having some bad innings at elections, but I think it's very unfair to start blaming Rahul Gandhi for these results. We'll come up with something, and we'll come up with a much larger plan for the coalition element as well. It will take some time though, and I think there is a clear move towards that.
But GVL Narasimha Rao, is there also the counter risk, as you know, was pointed out earlier in the panel, that you're placing too much of an emphasis on just one person in election after election?
No, Srinivasan, the BJP is the only party which has several leaders at several levels. Today, tell me any other party which has such a galaxy of leaders. Prime Minister today is the tallest leader. There is no one to even to match up to him, even partially today on the national level. But in the state level, we are building our own leaders.
But you fight elections.
Chief ministers who have won elections.
No, but even if you have other leaders, you fight elections just on the PM's name. You did it in Uttar Pradesh. You did it here again in Delhi. You may do it. You may well do it in Gujarat. Already indications of that.
That's an electoral. It's an electoral strategy, Srinivasan.
Right.
No one can bar us from using a galaxy of our leaders. And Prime Minister, I think we have won a large number of even local body polls in Maharashtra, Rajasthan, every other state, largely an account of Prime Minister's popularity. I would say it openly.
But
why not?
Point.
Why should a party be? How can you deprive us of not really leveraging on the popularity of my state and national leaders?
But that's the point I'm trying to make. Could that be down the line? And actually, so let me just ask Saurabh Bharadwaj. Saurabh Bharadwaj, Aam Aadmi Party is clear that Arvind Kejriwal, I mean, Congress clearly doesn't want to link this to Rahul Gandhi and his leadership. But isn't there a more direct link to be made with Arvind Kejriwal's leadership? You're clear that there's no question of him resigning.
I don't think, we have ever thought about it, and we are very clear that, based on our internal surveys, based on the opinions of the people, and based, like I am an MLA, I stay in a village, I have seen, I have man-to-man marking of my mohalla, like who are voting for which party. So, you know, looking at these results, I can tell you with all humility and certainty, with all my conviction, that these EVM machines were rigged. Yes, I can be a laughing stock. People may call me a joker. People may humiliate us.
No. I thought we had managed to get through this discussion without bringing that up. That is a non-starter, my friend. That is a non-starter. You can't get into EVMs now.
Right.
You can't keep doing that. I mean, that's really going nowhere. But anyway, I'm told we're completely out of time. Thank you very much indeed, all of you, for joining us. Abhishek Singhvi, GVL Narasimha Rao, Saurabh Bharadwaj and Aarti Jairat. We'll have to leave it there. That's it on Reality Check. Thanks for watching. Good night.